Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome back. Today I'm making one of my all-time favorite snacks, popcorn. I feel like doing popcorn on the stovetop gets a little bit of a bad rap because it can be a little easy to burn sometimes, but hopefully today I can show you that with the right technique, it really is pretty easy, and it's way better and way more customizable than the microwave stuff. So the first step, I got my largest saucepan out there, and I just put about a tablespoon or two of vegetable oil in there, and now I'm measuring out half a cup of popcorn kernels. Now the last thing I want to add here before we start popping is some salt. I don't want to add just regular kosher salt to this because the granules of kosher salt are just way too big. They're never going to stick to the popcorn. It's all just going to sink to the bottom. You can buy what's called popcorn salt, which is basically salt that's just been ground down into a fine powder. I never have any on hand because I never think to buy it when I want popcorn. So what I'm doing instead is grinding up some kosher salt in my mortar and pestle. You can do this in a spice grinder if you want, that works great. I don't have one, so the mortar and pestle works fine for me, and you'd be surprised at how quickly it goes. Just a few seconds of grinding, and there you go. You can see we've turned the salt into a fine dust, just like we want. So a couple strong pinches of that goes into the pot with my kernels, and then the rest of that I'm going to save for the next time I want popcorn. So now the lid goes on. This glass lid I'm using doesn't exactly fit this pot, but I figured it would be more fun if you could see what was going on. And then the heat goes on to medium-high. While that starts heating up, I'm going to start melting 2 tablespoons of butter in the microwave. If you can swing it, I would suggest using higher quality butter for this. In something as subtly flavored as popcorn, you're really going to taste the butter, so it's going to make a big difference whether you use something of higher quality versus maybe a supermarket brand that doesn't always have a ton of flavor. So while that melts in the microwave, I'm going to start giving my pot a good shake. This is kind of really the only rule of making popcorn on the stovetop is don't let things sit still for too long because they will burn if you do that. So really every 10 or 15 seconds or so, I'm going to make sure I give the pan a good shake to get everything mixed up and make sure that the heat is building up evenly around all the kernels. Once I get a good pop going, I'm going to turn the heat down just a hair. I know there's enough heat in the pot now to do the job, so I don't need to risk burning it with too high of heat anymore. So the popping is slowed down considerably now, just one pop every couple of seconds or so. So I'm going to take this off the heat and start seasoning it up. You can season your popcorn obviously however you want, but this is the way I like to do it. First I'm going to do some freshly ground black pepper. And I like garlic powder on my popcorn, so I'm going to add some of that. When you add it to the pot while it's still hot, it'll get a little toasty, which is really nice. And then lastly, I'm going to do a pinch of MSG. So now I'm going to drizzle my melted butter from earlier on top. By the way, don't pop your popcorn in butter because if you do that, the butter will just burn and it'll be gross. And now I'm going to throw the lid back on and give this pot a good shake until it looks like everything is pretty evenly coated. And that's it. That popcorn's done. So now I'm going to dump this out into what is very regrettably my nicest serving bowl. And this popcorn is ready to enjoy. This popcorn's great. You all know what popcorn tastes like, but this version of it's really good, I think. It's really savory with the additions of that toasty garlic powder and the MSG, which is what I really like, but again, you can season this up however you want. There's really no right or wrong here, so long as you follow this simple popping technique. So I hope you go out and buy a big bag of popcorn and try this out sometime. Let me know how it goes. Thanks.